This episode of the Upper 90 Club is brought to you, as always, by Supporter Supply Company. Hi, friends, this is your good pal Morgan Hughes, here to talk to you about a serious issue facing 96% of all crew supporters in Columbus. Why, not enough free shipping, of course. For a limited time now, through the eventual heat death of the universe, Upper 90 Club listeners can use the promo code Upper90Boys. That's boys with a Z on the end of it, at checkout for free delivery on absolutely any order over $10. But Morgan, what if I order $10 worth of stickers, or those goddamned buttons, or some other combination of small items that make you want to kill yourself? Will the free shipping still apply then, even as you curse our family, while you package up our little tiny annoying ass order for us? Of course it will. That's just how much we here at Supporter Supply value our friends at the Upper 90 Club. So head on over to supportersupply.co and use the promo code Upper90Boys. That's boys with a Z at checkout for free shipping on all your orders over $10. And don't forget to tell them that your friends at the Upper 90 Club sent ya.
So far, the crew has cleared every hurdle naysayers have placed in their way. Columbus would be home to one of the 10 inaugural teams. Columbus has outperformed much larger cities. The true success indicator has been from the fans.
Well, it's going out.
Hello and welcome to the club. I am your host, not Mars. I'm your host, Tip of the Hat.
What are you doing?
No, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I did it last time. No, did I do it last time?
Doesn't mean we like it.
I don't think
Doesn't mean
anybody
you
likes
should.
it.
Yep.
Okay. That was a new point. Well, we are here to talk about the Columbus Crew. We are a triangle table of friendship. And with me in the club tonight, well, at least for the
regular
first
Eiffel
part.
Tower over here. All right, boys.
I don't like the Eiffel Tower. We
You don't
got
like the French? You don't like French people? Oui.
like the
You
French
don't like
dip
Nassau?
sandwich. I like the French bistro. I got Mort and Trey. Everybody say Paris Hilton, everybody.
Oh, we.
Oh, we.
Man. All right. Well, we are without Haas. He is.
She wins an award tonight. Did you know that? We'll talk
Who?
about that later. Paris Hilton.
Okay. Ooh, gross. We're without Haas. Haas is in, I don't know. Is he in Salt Lake? Back to Mormontown?
He's in Palm Springs, Florida, according to
No.
you, but I'm pretty sure it's California.
He is in the good old land of the desert of Palm Springs.
There you go.
So not Mormontown.
And not Florida town.
Listen, we don't know where he's at. I don't think there's any way to figure out. He sent us a picture of a palm tree, said he was in Palm Springs, whatever.
He's lost. He's at the
Himmel
Joshua
is
tree.
out. He's hopping on here a little bit later. He is at Nutcracker, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Child's production of Nutcracker.
Oh,
So-
I thought it was talking about his wife. Okay.
No, burn. So have you guys gone to see a children's Nutcracker?
I have not.
I don't love the way. Okay, I don't like the way that sounded. For sure.
I am going to see the actual Nutcracker because we try to see that every other year or so.
It's like 3
I've seen-
hours long, right?
Yeah,
Like, because
I've seen
my
like
kids
3
went to
times.
one that their friends were in, and they were gone for like 3.5 hours. I'm like, what?
It's everything, man. Recitals too. You know, like your kid will be up there for about 30 seconds, and you have to be there for like 4 hours.
Can we shorten it? Like,
Dude,
it's not.
I'm loving the preschool one where they get up and they literally sing 3 songs and then they clap and then it's cookie time.
Yeah, like
Yeah, like,
start it out,
everybody likes
let a
cookie time.
rat like knife a kid or something, and then call it a day and be like, it was a dream. Or spoilers. Sorry, spoilers.
That's my dream.
I don't know. But yeah, he said he started at like 6 our time or something like that. And he's still not on, and it's 4 hours later and he's gone dark. So thoughts and prayers, question mark? So I don't know. So those are the people. Hopefully he pops in later for our award show. But off the top, let's talk some crew news since we're here. First on the docket, Crew 2 coach Kelvin Jones, dude with the badass dreads, going to San Diego. You guys have thoughts on that stuff? Some of our guys getting poached. He's going there to be an assistant coach, right?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a good thing. You want to see people that does well for your club. He's been there for many years in the youth academy and everything, working his way up to do great things. You don't want to lose a good guy, but he's going on to do something a little bigger in its growth, as it's going to be an assistant coach out in for the new San Diego expansion team.
So good on him. I've heard good things. I always thought because the Crew 2 coach went to Montreal that he took his staff. So Kelvin was somebody who came up through the ranks through the academy, right? Like prior, he's been here for a hot minute.
Yeah, from what I understand, he's been here for a longer period of time. The other thing is also they also offloaded a lot of his players this year too for
Yeah,
the
man.
next pro, so it's going to be kind of a fresh start for that team, anyways. At this point,
Did we talk about that in the last pod? I got tiny brain. Got
probably not.
nutcracker
Let's say we
brain.
did, and then just move on and say we went in depth on that.
I mean, I think they only have like 7 players, and now they don't
Well,
have a coach. So I'm like,
they kept Chase Adams, and then they moved on to everybody else.
yeah. Man, I don't even know.
We'll see what happens.
Well, some people that might be available, we can talk about Ohio State. For those not paying attention, they went to the Final Four and lost to Marshall 1-0 at home. Who watched that game? Did anybody watch that game?
That game was not at home.
It was
No,
not at
while
home.
we were
It was
kind of
not
the
at home.
home team, but it was that was played
Neutral
on
site?
neutral site in
Yeah.
North Carolina, I want to say.
That sounds correct.
Yeah.
So
Let's just
further
say it
south
was
where
North Carolina.
Marshall literally is right there. Okay, cool. Great. Cool. Why don't we get a home field advantage? Is that just because I did notice there wasn't that many people there. And I would assume that if they would have played it at Ohio State, they would have been packed.
Actually, from the pictures I saw, it was a pretty good attendance on that game. So it seemed like it was, but I don't know how many
Not the wide
Buckeyes were there.
angles. Yeah,
Yeah.
the wide angles did not look good.
Okay.
Dude, every time I've watched, I've watched 3 Ohio State games this year on TV, and they put the camera above the like where the people sit, and then
Yeah.
on the opposite side there's nobody, so it looks like a high school game. There's nobody there, but if they just flip the camera around,
And
it would be. I mean that's like what Portland does, or was it? It's Portland,
Yeah,
where they have
Portland.
like a whole gap in the stadium, but the way they shoot it makes it look like it's packed, and it's like,
And I mean, give credit where it's due. Marshall has made 6 consecutive NCAA tournaments, and they won the national championship in 2020. So
It's
I
a
mean,
it's a good program. Yeah.
right.
But eye test on the game, I thought Ohio State they were phenomenal. I thought they played great. They just couldn't figure out the final little bit. I mean, the XG, it feels like, would have been like 12. You know what I mean?
Are we going to go down that road?
Nope,
We're gonna
definitely
talk
not.
about it?
But I wonder if the Crew 2 doesn't start looking towards some of that stuff to grab some of those guys. I mean, they looked good. They looked like they could compete. Not in
Yeah.
like maybe
I think it's
Crew
one of
one,
those
but-
scenarios that if they were interested in them, they'd already be interested in them. They would already be there.
Yeah.
While we're talking about Buckeyes, I do want to mention, of course, Nathan Damian that they got shot last weekend after celebrating that last round win by running a drive-by, and of course could not play the game. He was, I believe, it was our starting center back for the team. So that was obviously a great loss to our squad. And from what I hear, the recovery after actually being very critical has gone much better than they expected. So
awesome.
obviously that's good to hear. So it seems like he's going to make a recovery from that. But thoughts and prayers, to put it that way.
Yeah. Actual vibes, positive vibes.
Yes,
downtown.
absolutely.
I'm glad he's doing a lot better. Yeah, I heard he was kind of in critical condition. I was like, what is happening, man? Stop this stuff. Okay. The next part that got released, I mean, there has been some serious news. They talked about a stadium expansion. And expansion seems like maybe the wrong word because it's not that expansive. Do you guys have like some facts on that? Hit me with
Yeah,
some facts.
I think the total count that we're talking about is 600 extra capacity. And I would emphasize the capacity because I believe there's a lot of standing room discussion, like we're talking about standing room here. So it's really one of the things to expanding that party deck that goes from Nordecke and above Nordecke and tied into that party deck they opened up this year that is above the boxes. So like kind of cover that what might that be, the northwest corner of the stadium. And then kind of hanging off that deck, they will kind of have a seating area that go down towards, the lower tier that brings some extra actually seats in the corner. So that's kind of the only area where you will actually kind of, if you're watching a game, kind of see some extra people in the corner there. On the other side, what they're expanding is kind of a club area for the upper tier, middle kind of area on the east side. On the sideline, on the upper tier, they're going to kind of make a bump out on the side. They're going to add like a whole club area with bars and all that stuff. So it's going to be more like a VIP kind of thing. And I think the only thing that does is probably add some standing space, but it also probably going to make a lot of those tickets in that area kind of a premium seating. So
Yeah,
I think
man.
you risk on making some people kind of upset, because I'm assuming people sitting in that area now are going to have to risk to pay a lot more to sit where they're sitting.
It sounds like they made this not thinking about me. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at the renderings. So in each corner, so if you're facing the Nordica, it's upper left, right?
Yes.
My question is, on each corner, there's like a little window that looks out that I kind of love. It looks like it's going to obscure that for that.
Yeah.
That
So the
area.
top that you're talking about looking at Nordic, the top left, yes, that will
Mhm.
be kind of blocked now. So you're going to build the extra support of that, but the ones that people that matters much. When you look at that way, you're looking at the highway. So
Yeah.
it's not like you see a lot. I do like it in a way to kind of keep
Interstate
it that.
70 is pretty.
Yeah, I actually I think once through there I saw a car burning on the highway. Let's put it that way.
That actually is
Yeah,
on brand.
that's true.
That actually happened.
Yep.
And then
I
but
was there. I remember
on
that.
the other side, they haven't looked at it. But the stadium they said that they have it in mind that they can expand that to the other corners as well and do something similar and probably bigger than what they're doing in this rendering. But it seems like most of this is a little bit of a money grab, and the club they're adding is also obviously for events and things that is beyond game day as well.
Yeah. It seems like that area in that party deck. I know my wife works for Cover My Meds, and they had rented out that. And I think it's more of like a corporate thing where you can rent it out, have a party. I mean, we stood up there when the stadium was first built. It is my favorite spot in the stadium to watch the game back then, but it's like now it's gatekept by the billionaires. I don't know. Again, not for us, but I am glad they're like still putting money into the stadium and trying to make it nicer.
Yeah, I'm not in any way complaining whatsoever. The only thing I think you're going to have some complaints for some people, they're going to see some of those ticket prices goes up, because what they're realizing is generating revenue, and you're at capacity. The only way you can generate more revenue is the prices up, and they have to justify getting the prices up quite a bit by making it more exclusive. So that's
Yeah,
probably
okay,
what
yep.
you're seeing a little bit there. But
Yeah, like big seats. Yeah, it looks like it's kind of just an add-on to that party room off to the left with just some like big movies theater seats. Again,
the only other
not
thing
impressive.
about the expansion of the club area to the kind of to the right, if you're looking at Nordic again, that would be kind of the right side. It won't be visible really from the inside of the stadium, but they're building a bump out on the right side of the east side of the stadium, behind the stage of the chase. What do you call it? The chase court, whatever they call it, the courtyard, whatever.
Yeah.
The plaza.
Yes, the plaza.
It's going to be like a bump out that's going to be 2 stories tall. So will kind of ruin a little bit of the aesthetics of the side of the stadium on that side. But obviously that's already kind of that part of the stadium that is kind of not symmetric with the rest of the stadium already. But I don't care for that.
Oh, they may have done that so when they do the next jerseys that drop,
they can
have a little bump out weird thing on like a shoulder and be like, it's part of what we're about.
Well, yeah,
the bumps.
We are getting the new
black jerseys.
Or is it? Is it going to be black, or is it going to be teal or yellow? They're going to be that pea stains version or whatever they call it.
Oh, the 4 Columbus ones.
Yeah.
Nah. We went down the rabbit hole, Trey and I, on Friday looking at the old jerseys again, and I mean, there's some bangers, but there's some not bangers. So I think it's and we were talking about the black jersey we currently wear looks great on the field. I own it. Do you guys own that? It's the Velocity kit, I think is what it's
Velocity
called.
kit? I like the Velocity kit. It's good.
I don't like it up close. On the field, it looks great.
No, you
but
know
up
which
close,
one that
it's like,
doesn't look good up
ugh.
close is the one that bought the knockoffs. That like the Velocity knockoffs are maybe the ugliest knockoff jersey I have ever seen in my
Really?
life.
I haven't seen them.
Oh yeah, no, if you will know when you see one.
Yeah, I don't know. Give me something like the funeral kit, or I mean, any of those black kits were great. We're not going to dive too deep into that, but
Yeah.
I am kind of excited. I mean, I know. Did you guys see the Miami kits drop? I mean, they did that for the holidays, obviously.
Right.
They're not
Well,
terrible.
they drop a new kit every other month so they can sell some more messy jerseys, and obviously
Yeah.
before Christmas, because then you can spend $100 on a new jersey for your kid and rather starve and not paying your.
I wish they
mortgage.
would do a third for us. I really like third kits in general.
I wouldn't mind a third retro kit.
Yeah.
I don't
Like,
know
that
why
was-
we didn't. I don't know why we didn't get a retro kit being an original. I hope we see one next year because
And it was frustrating because we were. I mean, in the
we're the original
people
club.
who buy jerseys or whatever, we had two players in the top 5 or 10. It was like, was it Aiden Morris and Cucho, or was it Nagby and Cucho? It was like one of those two, but
Yep.
It just looked optically like we should have had one and we didn't. And I was like, man, super duper bummer.
All right, we went straight from expansion to jersey. I like it though.
Yeah. Well, speaking of expansions, that's a segue, my man.
What we call that? We call it threading, or what's the term we use for this thing? It all's going to make sense in the end.
Threading? I don't know. I don't know. What
Weaving.
you're talking about,
Weaving.
man. Weaving? I didn't.
Maybe
no.
it's a looming. Is that what it is?
No,
It's
no.
a
You tell
Trump-
us. You
it's-
tell
it's
us
a
in the
Trump- it's a
comments.
Trump
Like and
term,
subscribe or whatever.
I'm just going down the weaving train.
Yeah.
Anywho, expansion draft happened. None of our dudes got drafted. My question, because I was like, hey, I kind of want to just talk about it because last pod we didn't have the list of people, right? We went down through and figured out who may or may not be, and we got the list. I don't think we mentioned it on the last pod, which was Evan Bush, who was, I mean, I don't think he has a contract right now. Dylan Shambeau, which I thought was kind of crazy. Nicholas Hagan, which no one had on their card.
Yeah.
Herrera, DeJuan Jones, which no one had. Derek Jones,
I did.
Everyone had.
I had.
Yeah,
DeJuan
you
on
had
there.
DeJuan Jones.
Because I said it in House about cried.
Yeah, Matan, who is unattached. Romero, who everybody had, and Yao, who everybody had. So they didn't take anybody. Before the pod, we said, it was interesting the people that San Diego actually took, because the total minutes played by the 5 people they took in the MLS last season was 0. So they took a bunch of people who didn't even play.
Really?
And
Is that correct? Like the guy from St. Louis too? I think is it Japanese player or something?
I don't that
Hosi Kojima.
Yeah.
that's what I read.
Well, maybe they traded him on too. That could have been another thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, they said specifically MLS, so he might have played in a different thing. But the weird thing is, we heard behind the scenes, again, don't know if this is true. Sources are citing that Yao is going to San Diego, and we had a handshake agreement like, hey, don't take anybody, but we will trade you Yao. And
we
that
didn't
happened.
have to trade him. Yeah, we just didn't sign him, right?
Exactly. It was like, hey, don't take our players, and then you guys get Yao. They said okay, so they didn't poach anything, and I guess a lot of that goes on. Like, hey,
Oh yeah,
don't take this. We'll give you X amount. Someone also said that we would give them Yao and an international spot or something like that. I don't know the validity of that. I do know I read there was I read a couple articles for the Yao stuff, and I think even Tom posted.
I also read the fact that there are other teams going in and saying, hey, I know this player is available. Why don't you pick him, and then we will trade with you guys, and we will take him off your hand for money.
Yeah.
So now you can go out and get somebody else. So there are people that teams that will look at that list of available players and go to San Diego and said, hey, yeah, this guy, we want him. So why don't you pick him and we trade him, and then they make money.
Yeah, I mean, I saw DeJuan Jones and I was like, they're taking him. Like, there is no reason you don't take a borderline MLS All-Star player.
No, this is the reason why is the amount of money he's on a contract. So you're taking over the contract he has. So if he is paid a good amount of money, it's going to hit your books. So that's why sometimes you leave players on there with pretty high contracts, because that new club is not ready to take on and take the chance. And I bet I'm guessing like 600 or something like that is probably where he is.
I don't know. I mean, it was a trade, so that's interesting. And they were trying to. I think New England was trying to get him off the books.
Yeah.
So I think we got him on kind of a cheap, but his ceiling is high. I think we can all agree on that. I mean, Shambo looked good at the end of the season. If you don't have a goalkeeper, Hagen is a slam dunk. He's an international player.
It'll be interesting to see where the ownership group in San Diego actually takes their build. Because you've got a couple of different. I mean, look at St. Louis. St. Louis was first place in their conference almost all the way up to the very last week last year.
Yeah.
It fell apart halfway through the season, but in general, yeah.
No, and Cincy was terrible for 3 years. I'm just
the same.
interested.
They don't want to tie. They don't want to tie in with players that have too much salary, because that limits your ability to move and make acquisition to build your team. And to my point, actually, I looked this up. The one make $800,000 a year, so it's a big contract. That's why you leave him on, because you know that they probably won't pick him up because of the size of the contract.
Yeah, another caveat I think that Trey picked up last week was the ownership is also, or was the ownership or something to do with Generation Adidas. Am I crazy? Or not Generation Adidas.
Right, there's the Right to Dream Academy.
Right to Dream. And Yao was a part of that. And that's that whole thing. And I wonder who else is in the Right to Dream and how that translates over to San Diego. It'll be interesting to see what they do. Who's the coach? Who'd they pick up? I just drew a blank.
Mikey Varas.
Yeah, Mikey Varas.
Got it. I mean, that's a good coach. So, I guess.
So, I mean, a couple of things. We've got, I don't want to skip over it too fast because the Right to Dream Academy is actually pretty cool. I don't know if they're a not-for-profit or what exactly status they have, but they work with African players. They have an academy in Ghana, and they've got one in San Diego. And I mean, there's one in Denmark, one in Egypt.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they're linked with a couple of different clubs.
Is it specifically for they go after Africa, like that? It's that those people. I think that's probably the case because it was.
I don't like the way this is phrased, but they call it their manifesto.
Oh, I don't like that word at all.
So I'm going to ramble a little bit here. So
this will be your manifesto. All right, cool.
So hold on, I want to go through this a little bit. It says excellence can be found anywhere. These are talking points.
Cool.
Look beyond the obvious. When the colonizers went to the rest of the world, they went with narrow minds and short-sightedness, seeing what they could gain economically, but missing on much of the cultural richness. Resilience and success that already existed. Privilege can make us blind, sticking with the status quo. So I think they're just kind of trying to look in all the nooks and crannies, is what it sounds like.
Got it. It's not Luigi's manifesto.
No.
Let's just get that out of the way now.
Or Ted's. So
yes.
Let's see. Work with purpose. Rock the boat. Okay.
What website
expand?
Is this?
I feel like I'm just reading song titles.
Yeah.
Expand the dream.
Yeah.
So
it's a good one.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good thing to have a solid partnership if they don't already have an established academy. This is kind of servicing as their academy.
Got it.
So that's a good thing. And then the other thing we had started to talk about was they did pick up an experienced coach in Mikey Varas.
Yeah.
Which is, hey, I don't know where they're going with this build. I haven't heard any big names that are going.
There was the San Diego. They signed. Did I say Altunis? Or the guy that was on PSV.
Oh, you're talking? Was it Chucky Lozano?
Yeah, that's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah. They did pick up Chucky, but even Chucky's a big name, but he's not.
He's older. Because I follow PSV as much as I can. because they have a bunch of U.S. players and whatnot. But
So they got a guy from Nottingham Forest, Alex Mighton.
who's top 4?
Right.
I think, or Nottingham Forest. I think it's 4th.
Okay, this is definitely on you. Marcus Invartson.
Ingvartsen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ingvartsen. Yeah.
Coming from FC Nordisland.
Okay.
Totally.
Nordsjælland.
Great team.
Yeah, in Denmark.
Nordsjælland. Yep.
Yeah, which is actually a partner club to Right to Dream, by the way.
Correct. And you've got another one.
Yeah, I figured.
I am not going to be able to pronounce any of these. Jeppe Tverskov. Maybe.
Jeppe.
Sounds great.
Yeah, that sounds also like it's Danish or Swedish or something.
He comes from that other
Swedish.
club that we just talked about as well.
Yeah, Nordsjælland.
Yep.
Yep.
Jasper Lofsund, Paddy McNair coming over from Middlesbrough. But nobody on here is, besides Chucky Lozano, is any sort of a big name. So I'll be curious to see what they do. It's good for them. They have terrible shirts, terrible badge, but it's good to see another team in California. They needed
why?
it.
That's the kind of funny. It was kind of the one they had out there wasn't bad, and then
Right.
decided to go a total different direction, and it's not
The
good.
badge. New ownership. They're like, let's put our stamp down. We don't know anything about that.
It's
We
like
don't
an
know anything about it.
Aztec weaving basket
Okay,
loom
we'll
thing.
stop you there. All right, we're going to take a break. We got all sorts of little Jim Jammies funds coming, so we'll be right back.
Hey Columbus, are you looking for a place to get fit but don't know where to start? Pure Strength and Wellness has everything you need to achieve your personal goals. Whether it's focusing on fat reduction, increasing mobility while decreasing pain, or just generalized fitness and stamina, Pure Strength and Wellness provides one-on-one personal training to get you where you need to be. Located at 734 Garden Road in beautiful Clintonville, their 4,000-foot studio is the perfect place to begin your journey. So come on in and speak to a qualified trainer to find out which is the best fitness package for you.
And we're back. Something I did want to bring up before we move on to more crew stuff that we just recently kind of talked about was the Vancouver Whitecaps are in the process of being bought, and they are freaking out.
Well, they're in the process of being sold. They haven't had a buyer yet, which is the scary part.
What's Precourt doing?
Probably bidding on that because he would try and take him to Vegas, or
He'd also take them to Austin, like 2 dose Austins. Yeah, but this guy on Reddit came through and was like, "Hey, I'm freaking out. Like, what do we do here?" And everybody pointed him to our Save the Crew people. But I mean, from what I'm reading, they don't anticipate or even look like they're gonna leave Vancouver. That's like not part of the thing. But I mean, I guess who knows? Would you be worried? I mean, I think after the Save the Crew thing, that the only thing that would kick like Vancouver, Toronto and Montreal in would be the fact that they're in Canada, and they'd make it more like domestic. But I think that ship has sailed because we're 25 years old, and I think those teams are pretty solidified.
I think knowing what we know now about an ownership group that could come in with malice intentions, bad intentions.
Yeah.
Nefarious.
Dr.
Nefarious.
Nefario.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be worried. Anytime your team is going to sell, you need to know who they are, why they're buying the team, and make sure there's no clauses that are set forward and agreed upon by Don Garber.
Yeah, seriously. Read the fine print.
Don't trust the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't trust the government. Those drones are aliens.
I trust the Canadian government.
Yeah, there's a
that's also
couple of things here. One thing is that it is a relatively successful club in terms of result. They've been pretty decent over the last couple of years. They won the last couple of Canadian Cups, whatever that means too. But
probably nothing.
And they have pretty high attendance. There's not an attendance issue there. I think there's a pretty well-run club. I saw they were selling it, listing it for about 500 million, which is a pretty good piece of money. But yes, there's always room to be concerned when these things are happening. So yeah, read the fine print.
Especially if someone has that much money to spend on a team. I don't trust those billionaires. We know better.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but it might
Keep
be
your ear
some.
to the ground, but if you're hearing some stuff, let's get them the help they need.
There
if they
could be
wanna-
some fine print in MLS that needs to have X number of Canadian teams and things like that, and they've covered most of the big cities. But this is one of those things why you get so nervous too, and this is also why some people are talking about the room for some competition from USL, and we talked about the viewership on MLS Cup versus USL and things like that. It's the fact that there are a lot of cities that are major markets that are not necessarily represented in the in MLS today. So whenever you have a club up for sale, there could be attractive markets. I mean, everything's going to Vegas these days, right?
What? Yeah, I have. That's literally what I was about to ask. Like, so Raiders went to Vegas. Is there like a lot of people there that go to the games, or is it like a destination place? Because if I was playing for a team like Vegas, and it's like, well, I know a bunch of people that went and saw like the Browns play the Raiders because they were going to Vegas. So it's like, do you really have home fans? Those seem like the fakest fans of all time.
It's not just that the Oakland A's are moving to Vegas too. I think it's such a destination city.
Totally.
And you can sell the living crap out of it. That's what it is. I mean, sponsorships, all the amount of money that you can pay people to come there.
Bruno Mars is there.
If F1 can get a race there.
True.
Yeah.
Vegas is such an anomaly to me because it's just like, when I think of sport fandom, I think of like, Ohio State football, Crew, Browns, people that have like a city that's not.
You think
like,
of
no one comes to Columbus
I think it's
on a bachelor party.
I feel like it's a fair question, but I think it's a little bit of myth too, and I think you saw that with the what was it, the Golden Knights or whatever they're called, the hockey team that expand there.
Totally.
They had a lot of success right with that. I don't know how it looks there now. If it's kind of like going to a Blue Jackets game where we're not very good, it's getting kind of empty, right? But I felt like there was kind of a local following there, and the population of Vegas, isn't small either anymore. I mean, it's a pretty considerable area.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just like what I'm
thinking. If
thinking.
it had nothing to do with Vancouver, I'd be all for a team in Vegas.
Sure.
But I do
there is
not
one,
want to
Las
see...
Vegas Lights, coached by MLS MVP trophy namer after.
No, by
Landon's
Landon?
gone?
I think so.
Yeah, that checks out. Well, like I said, you can go see Bruno Mars. You can go see Landon Donovan. It's a place of fairy tales.
Yeah, but something to keep him like an eye on. If we have to go out and support him, we support him. We want to keep I think we should obviously keep the team in Vancouver. And I think based on what we have seen, based on how they seem other team reacting and things, I think is less likely for that to happen, because I think
it'd be great if Austin moved to Vegas.
Okay, first thing,
Austin can move. That's fine.
I don't want to see the stats coming out and like hearing the Kool-Aid being poured into the glass from MLS about how pity and poor it was up in Vancouver.
Yeah, I don't want any of that rhetoric can go.
Second, fact check, it was Eric Winalda that was the coach at Las Vegas.
Huh.
Because Landon's always been in San Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah, he was with the Loyal and then
Wales Donovan.
The women's team, the Wave last year.
Yeah. So yeah, just keep your ear to the ground, keep seeing that stuff. Don't let big MLS do shady things again. Let's move on to the C3 draw. Columbus Crew qualified by winning Leagues Cup in 2024. We got to buy the first round, and we played the winner of LAFC, surprise, surprise, versus the Colorado Rapids. First, before we get into that, it looks like, and we just saw this before, Pachuca is not in this, even though they won it last year.
Yeah.
I guess someone make it make sense.
No, I guess it's not like Europe. If you are the champion, you automatically qualify for the next year's Champions League, and that didn't happen. And it's interesting because it's a team right now that is in the Intercontinental Cup, and we were going to maybe talk about that is now playing Real Madrid.
Yeah,
this week.
They're whatever. I don't even know what that cup is. Were MLS teams even in that? I don't know that.
The Intercontinental Cup is more of the traditional. It's the cup before the when we created the Club World Cup. It was really just the winner of
Keep this stuff
each
straight.
continent, like the league. So it'd be the one team from each one of the regions, right? So South
that's
America,
like-
CONCACAF, Asia,
Sure,
CONMEBOL,
yeah.
whatever else. Yeah,
So basically, it's Mexico versus Spain. Is
the final now.
okay, sure. I mean,
Mexico
I'm-
versus Spain, you forgot South America. So yes, so that was a pretty big deal that they made it up to play Real Madrid. So.
yeah. Sure.
But
why
no,
not?
but they're not in it. So that's we can't go there and get sick. That's at least a positive.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't get poisoned to Pachuca. More like puke chuka. We'll workshop it. So we made round of 16. We get to play. I mean, chances are you probably already know this, but we got to buy the first round. We play probably LAFC, which we've seen how many times and how many finals. And then if we win that game, we play, the winner of, and it looks like it will probably be Miami. I think for me, the frustration with this C3 Cup is, we have all of CONCACAF, but we're only playing MLS teams again. So it's hard for me to get super duper pumped about this stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to play LA, and I would always love a crack at Miami because we just need to get on top of that team. But
yeah, do you think this by design? So
Yes.
they're putting all of the kind of 3 heavy hitters in MLS in one bracket. So maybe one of the heavy hitters might work it all the way out to like America is on the opposite side, for example.
There's 4, different brackets in theory that can go to the final 4. There's 3 MLS teams, us, LA, or 4. I'm sorry, Sporting KC,
Sporting's
Miami,
not really,
LAFC, and us, and Colorado. So 5. But across the bracket, the only MLS team in that bracket out of 8 teams is Seattle. The one below it, there's only 2 out of 8, which is Salt Lake or Galaxy Salt Lake and Cincinnati. And the one across from that, there's none.
Yeah, there is.
Or I'm sorry, there's
Vancouver,
but that's
Vancouver.
it.
The
question
aforementioned
mark?
Vancouver.
I mean, it
Vegas?
seems like so every one either has 1 to 2, maybe 3.
This
teams.
is totally set up
5.
so you've got a couple of big games in round 1. Round 2 was probably LAFC versus Columbus with Miami, and then in the quarterfinals you have LAFC Columbus winner versus Miami more than likely. It's a TV cash grab.
And they hope this is what they're hoping for. They're hoping Miami going to go through and play Monterrey in the semis, and then play Club America in the final from the other side. It's no doubt that's what they're hoping to do here. But I know it's a drawing. It is a drawing. I'm sure it's
a drawing, as in someone drew this.
Yeah, somebody drew this up.
Yeah, that's the drawing.
Look opposite us on the bracket, on the same side or on the other side, you've got Club America waiting on the winner of Guadalajara, and then you've got Cruz Azul below that, who will probably play Seattle. So that's another kind of similar thing.
You have the heavy hitter of Antigua right below there. I don't think you should
I'm
overlook Antigua. Give them
America,
a shot.
Guadalajara, Cruz Azul, Tigres. Or sorry, Tigres is the one below it.
Yeah.
But you have 3 good teams coming from Mexico in that group. You got 3 good teams coming from America in our group. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
How can Pachuca not make it, winning last year and going to the final in the FIFA?
They weren't high enough
Cup?
in the Mexican League. I mean, I guess that's how it is. To me, it's a mystery. It's so they can have a spot for Miami. That's why.
Miami.
They qualified fair and square for that.
Yeah. Which, looking at this bracket, this is fun. If we get knocked out, whatever. It's yada yada yada. But if we're doing this, don't do Leagues Cup. What's the point, right? I mean, how many? There's a decent amount of MLS. There's
about 20 other teams that want to play, and you can make money playing Mexican teams and bringing out extra attendance. Attendance matter.
So you're
and
telling
if you can
me it's
sell
about
out the
money.
stadiums, and it's only in North America. I mean, the MLS teams are getting some extra income from these games, and that matters. That's
I'm
why
still
they
tired
have
from the season, and I don't play.
Okay, hold on. I don't have the 2024 qualifying methods up, but I do have the last year's qualifying methods. So this is actually worthwhile. So the Crew qualified winning MLS Cup last year.
Yep.
FC Cincinnati qualified winning the Supporter Shield.
Mm-hmm.
Dynamo qualified winning the U.S. Open Cup.
Sure.
Inter Miami won Leagues Cup last year, so they won and got in.
Yep. That's how we were in.
Right. Nashville SC won because they were the Leagues Cup runner-up. Okay. New England Revolution got in last year because they were the second place MLS Supporter Shield standing.
Okay.
Orlando City got in because they were the next best, so third place in the Supporter Shield standings. Philadelphia Union got in because they tied for third place in Leagues Cup. St. Louis City got in because they were the Western Conference winner.
Yeah, but they have on the MLS site how everybody got in this time.
I didn't see this year's. I'm only pointing out
how ridiculous
how they didn't include the previous year's winner.
So we got in because we won Leagues Cup. So we won Leagues Cup.
But I guess technically per those old rules, we also could get in from being number 2 in.
I mean, it
the
doesn't
Shields
make
as well.
sense.
So
like
I don't know.
Pachuca should be. I'm glad they're not, just based on poison. But
no. I think it's ridiculous that the winner of last year is not in the tournament, especially when you're putting people in with all these other ridiculous qualifiers. Last year's winner should be in the tournament.
Yep. Oh yeah, 100%. It's kind of ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Not
So,
kind of. It is.
Great.
This takes away
ACC
from
draw.
all the credibility that this tournament already had.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Again, after losing, heading towards MLS Cup, I would like to prioritize that over all these other things, especially after last year. Like, I'm kind of done with all this stuff. Like, great, played Crew 2 players, but that's like my opinion, man. Speaking of, the Crew had their awards, which they didn't do in public. They didn't do it at the casino. They didn't do it for free booze, right? And didn't they used to do this like with all the support, all the people with season tickets, and have a big party? Man, those were the days.
I don't think that they are. Mark would have a better answer to this, but I do not think that this was a part of that. I think they always just did a press release. It wasn't like a party for it, but they did do an end of the season party at a casino / bank vault.
I thought they gave player awards during that. We'll double check. We gotta, like we said, we thought Captain Mars was going to be here. He is not. The Nutcracker was really cracking his nuts. I was right there.
That was much better than your previous version.
Yeah. Yep. So let's go through the awards really fast, and then we'll get into something else. MVP of the club goes to Cucho. Golden Boot by the numbers goes to Cucho. Hey, all right, we're on it.
Yeah, we are.
Defensive Player of the Year. Wonder who that could be.
Steven Moreira.
Pitchy. Humanitarian of the Year goes to
No.
Arlington Nagbe.
Did you vote against him, Mort?
Yeah, he did.
I couldn't vote for him because you can't vote
did
for
anyway.
somebody in
Yeah,
your
I'm
own
sure
household.
I'm sure
right?
you did a write-in vote.
You can't. It's not. Good to vote for your.
Yeah.
Apparently, the guy I married.
The man
Last
you're sleeping
episode.
next to.
Go back
Yeah.
to listen to
It's
past
okay.
episode. Yep.
Yeah. Kirk Urso Hart Award. Phrasing. Don't love. Evan Bush. Love that. Yeah. Go ahead, Trey.
Can we petition to please have that changed? I hate the wording of that.
Yeah.
Kirk
Should just be
Urso.
Kirk Urso Award.
Yes.
And for those who don't know, he passed away
From a
probably
heart
from a heart.
rhythm, arrhythmia, something or rather.
I don't know.
And a medical condition with his heart. I just feel like this is not very well worded. It's just the simplest way to say it. It's just poor wording. Like, let's call it something else because Kirk definitely deserves it.
When I die of Burger King eating, don't call it
don't
Ben Burger King Award.
Yeah.
You know what
I
I mean?
think that's
Unless
an
they pay
excellent
you,
point.
and then fair play.
Yeah.
The last one that isn't just an absolute obvious the obvious giveaway is the Crew Academy Player of the Year, which if you follow the Cappies, obviously probably was Chase Adams. He was their
Good pick.
striker. As Bird would say, he is our future. He's super young and was scoring a bunch of goals. He looked great. He did a great job.
I watched a couple of games, so he seemed to be kind of a one head above a lot of the others out there.
Yeah, I think he's only like 17 or 18 or something.
Yeah,
like
he's
that,
young.
still
He's
in
one
high
of the
school.
youngest
It's
on
like,
the team too.
Okay, like cool.
Yeah, I mean, he had 10 goals this year. 10 goals, 3
He had
assists.
tinkles this year.
I heard tinkles too.
I had a little tinkles.
He had tinkles this year.
Yeah, anybody that gets 10 goals, we're
That's how
gonna call
young
him
he
tinkles.
is.
He
He
got
gotta
him
have
tinkles. You
He
can't.
tinkles on the
it's 'cause it's
potty.
We heard you wrong. I thought he had more goals than 10, but
That's based on MLS Next Pro stats on the Crew. Yep. 10 total.
great. Tinkles. So we are going to do our own tinkles. I wish we had the other guys here. Maybe we'll probably circle back to this with them. But we are going to give out our own awards, and these are totally legit. We are calling this the 2024 Supporters Supply Matthew Hawes Bob Caldwell Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram Also Used Cars Award, presented by Upper 90 Club for something like super special during the soccer season.
Award.
Award.
Yeah, TM. So each of us are coming up with an award that is not one of the 6 that were given out, and giving them to a player for a like super special something that they did during the soccer season. And it's totally legit. We'll probably, if anybody knows their address, just DM us and we will go to their house and hand them the award. It's totally legit, totally cool. Who wants to go first? Who's giving out awards? Mort, you tell us.
I don't know.
You starting first.
So, yeah, you put me on the spot because we were talking about how we're going to do this award things, but I do have one award. I want to mention some other ones later, but I do think we need, of course, the most obvious one is to have the Eddie Gavin Award.
I love this.
Yeah, the Eddie Gavin Award this year goes, of course, to Savatsky for his futile efforts in goal.
It's futile. He tied the record for saves from a non-goalie in Crew history, right?
Yeah, that's a great stat.
I have it up here on crew.com. Crewsoccerplayer.com.
Must be true.
I love the Eddie Gavin Award.
I think you mean the 2024 Supporter Supply Matthew Hawes Bob Caldwell Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram and Used Cars Award presented by Upper 90 Club for something super special during soccer season. Eddie Gavin Award.
Yes, by Morton.
By Morton.
Yes.
There we go.
I love that. I love that so much. I completely forget, like, so much happened this season that I forgot that happened, and that's this is why we need CERC books every year, or at least quarterly or something. Because as soon as Brianna said, something like, "Oh, I can't believe that happened," I'm like, "Oh, that's right. I completely forgot that happened." That's like,
no, that was this year.
Yeah,
this season.
That was months ago, not years ago. It's great. I love that, the Eddie Gavin Award. The problem is, like, if we don't have, I think that should be a Crew staple. Like, we have to play somebody for 15 minutes or greater at goalie that has never played goalie before. Every single year.
Every time we have a 3-goal lead.
Every time someone said Baton should get in goal, and I was like,
yeah,
who said that?
That was a joke from Brianna. A very good one.
It was. Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
I think every time we're up 3 goals, we need to sub, or actually we just rotate, and we put Schulte on top, and we put somebody else in goal. So keep the goalie on the field.
We used to do that with our soccer team back when we weren't getting smoked every single week. Where once we got up by 5, it's like you score, you play goal. So I think, like, anybody who scores, like, if we're up 4, that whoever scores that 4th goal has to go back. Like, you don't make a sub; you just swap jerseys.
You're talking about
like
indoor.
If Cucho scores, Cucho goes to goalie and Patty goes up top.
So I
And
would,
then
I would,
next person scores, Cucho comes out of goal.
I would argue that I have been playing indoor with you for the last 4 or 5 years now, and
have to
the last
argue
4 or
that.
5 years that hasn't happened.
Well, it's been a while. It's been out. We did it in outdoor a couple times.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I was never goalie, so
And
when I
we have
did,
never been
I've
very
never
successful.
made a save. I'm scared.
All right,
You're a
hit me with the
goalie,
next
you're a
one.
psychopath. All right, Trey, you do it. You're up next.
All right, so for my 2024 Supporter Supply Matthew Haas Bob Caldwell Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram and Used Cars Award presented by the Upper 90 Club for something like super special during soccer season.
It's a great award.
I'm going with the Frankie Hayduck Goo Award for Christian Ramirez as he kept this team glued together and playing as a cohesive unit.
I
Not
like
always starting, but always coming in off the bench. You had him doing the three with him and him the three construction workers with Cucho and Rossi.
Yeah.
He just always seemed to be a player that was consistently bringing this team together, and he wasn't starting a ton.
I think it's I agree. It's a
so-
positive vibe. But when you say Goo Award, I was thinking about the babies he's producing. But that was
True.
threw me off there.
I was thinking about,
but he has
that goo.
He has that Frankie Hayduck, like not personality. Nobody's Frankie. We all know that.
Yeah.
But in terms of like his ability to make the team cohesive, I think that was his
Cohesive,
valuable.
positive vibes kind of
Right.
things,
It's
right?
like he just seemed, when he was on the field, I felt better. I don't know what it was. Like it just seemed that the play, the communication.
That's why he has
everything
so many
just was
kids.
Oh, there was for a while there. He came back in after being out, and we started clicking again for a while.
Yeah.
It was a
Right.
huge when he came back from being
He's
out
a
for a while.
linchpin, man.
I still think he's a bigger loss on this team than Rossi is. Although Rossi, through the last couple of months, had been extremely hot. I think losing Christian is a big.
It's
If we were
weird.
to, we have not. That is nothing that I am saying by any means. I do not want to see him go anywhere.
Yeah, no. I have this wet dream vision where he just is taking everything Nancy says and he becomes like almost a player coach and just tutelages under him and then becomes the crew coach. Because we did help him during the season, and I have confirmation of that from Bree to get his coaching license. I just think, when he's out there, it's just different, man. Things are just different. I love that guy. I wish he would have gotten, again. We looked at these 6 awards and I was like, man, there's definitely more players that deserve an award.
Yeah.
And that
So-
brings me to my award. And my award for the 2024 Supporter Supply Matt Haas Bob Caldwell Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram and Used Cars Award presented by the Upper 90 Club for something like super special during the soccer season. I'm giving my Comeback Player of the Year award to
Paris Hilton.
who do you think? Paris Hilton? No, definitely not.
Well-
Who do you think is the Comeback Player of the Year?
Matan?
You would think.
No.
Mort, who do you think? Think
His wife?
think like me. Think like real dumb. Who's the silly pants?
The comeback player of the
Evan
year.
Bush?
You guessed it. Abraham Romero, the GOAT. Yeah, he may be 3rd or 4th string, even behind Zawadzki at this point.
But he got
But
a
he
red
had
card and he came
2
back.
games,
And he
right?
came back.
He came back. So here's the
No,
deal.
nobody wanted him to. He
Well,
came back.
and that's the thing. And I think this is important.
I thought this
So
was
he
supposed to
had
be a Kim Kardashian joke or something.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, the on the back thing. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. All right. So check it. He had a red card. It was very bad. Everybody was super down on him. He came back and played one more game. But during that game, not only did we win, I think he had a shutout, maybe, but he was the most, what's the word I'm looking for? He played with the crowd, with the claps.
Charismatic.
Yeah, he was
and
extremely, he was like clapping behind his back and singing along. And it just, the amount of turn from somebody being like, this guy's the devil, to coming back and doing this, and people posting online and on X and doing all the things and just saying, look how hilarious this is. But like him singing and clapping behind his back and playing pretty well. I was like, man, I just kept thinking, if that's me and I had a howler game and we lost to Seattle because I got a red card and I look like an idiot, everyone hates me, to coming back and instead of being like angry at the fans or, you know, hearing any of that stuff, going out and just having an absolute blast and getting them hyped up, I was like, you know what? For a third string or even getting in there, I kind of like this dude. There's just something about him. He's got Riz. Skibbity Riz.
So, yeah, some.
So speaking of awards,
you got a red card. That's for sure.
Speaking of awards, so we were texting about this earlier today, and I don't read English well, I guess, because I was kind of like, we gotta come up with our own awards. Then I was like, I came up with awards for all of you guys. So I came up with my own awards for each of the guys in the podcast. So I thought we were doing a whole thing. So now I have my awards. So I was thinking, should I share them now? Is this
Trey
a time
and I don't. And
well,
I think
you don't, but
share
I do.
them.
I think you should share it.
Yeah.
For
all
Mark
right,
and Haas.
Well, I will start with the guy furthest away. So we'll start from the West Coast and move home. So the one furthest away from us right now is Haas.
Yeah.
And I gave Haas the John Madden Box to Box Award, brought to you by Rubbermaid, because of the amount of times he says box. In the top of the box, in the box, found the guy in the player of box. He dropped into the box. He played 90 degrees into the top of the box, the corner of the box. So he's my box to box, the John Madden Box to Box Award winner, sponsored by Rubbermaid this year. So
okay, I can get behind that.
Yep. To Mars, so I moved a little bit east now. You know, for probably a reason more internally, he is the Florence Nightingale. He won the Florence Nightingale Award, brought to you by America's Nurses Association and RFK Jr. Just for like taking care of his family and being away for the right reasons and being there and really being a family guy. So
yeah, being an idiot. Yeah,
you're being a total idiot.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's gone.
So which brings me to you guys.
Did you give yourself one?
No, I didn't give I thought we were all doing this.
You're not voting for yourself?
I didn't give myself for
we are all
the
doing
year.
This. You're
sponsored by the United States Immigration. I don't know.
You had to get a sponsor?
Yeah. The best foreigner on the pod. How about that?
Nah, I don't know about that.
So do we have oh yeah, that's true. I think it's Bird.
Yeah. Or it's Haas. He's Mormon. And I'm not entirely sure what Mormonism is.
So
okay. Thoughts brought to you by Ben.
I struggled a little bit more here because I was trying to come up with some names and things, but so you try to tie it to names and people that, you know, bring this thing. But I have the Socrates Contrarian Award. I brought you to the X-comment sections, and that goes to Trey.
What?
For playing devil's advocate and try to flare tempers in the pod.
What is Socrates known for?
He's
I know this, but I just want to do it for the listeners.
He's tried to be kind of the opposite. He's speaking against the norm of everybody else and kind
of the yang.
Yeah, in the yin to yang, saying there's a couple of other ones.
Without
in
him, we're not
complete.
Like that. We're just a bunch of yes men.
Yeah.
You can't be a yes man. No, that's no fun.
Yeah. Trey likes to say like, no, I totally disagree, just to see Ben's face explode, which is great. And then the last one is the Ian Frey Award, formerly known as Howard Hughes Somatic Symptom Award, brought to you by WebMD.
Okay,
that goes to
I don't know those people. I don't think
you don't know Howard Hughes or Ian Frey. By the way,
my eye?
Yeah, exactly. Ian Frey is the Miami player that came back from his injury and got injured right away for like the
He's a
third year in a
baller.
row. So
Yeah.
You think he was faking it?
no, he was faking
I'm
it.
just saying though, like, I mean, yeah, he's
So,
balling.
you know
in
who
my
Howard
doctor's
Hughes is?
notes,
And
it
his
says hypochondria.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Howard Hughes is not Morgan Hughes' brother.
No.
This is totally.
we
other
don't
guy.
know that. We don't know
Could
that
be.
for certainty.
Maybe grandfather.
Howard Hughes, didn't he do a movie? Was he a pilot? The pilot
Great-grandfather.
guy?
No.
It's the way of the
No.
future. It's the way of the future.
He was the pilot guy. He was more of the airplane or the
Yeah, he was the Elon
airline.
Musk of the pre-World
Right.
War II. Pretty much.
Multi-millionaire that spent it all and became a recluse and didn't leave his house because he was afraid of germs and all sorts of.
In his
goofy
defense,
stuff.
there's a lot of germs.
Check out the movie The Aviator. It's pretty good.
That's what I was thinking of.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'll take that award if it's clean,
Yes.
because I'm not a monster. And we don't have one for you. We will do we should do a whole award episode. What are we on? We're on 3 years of this?
Yes, sir.
3 years? Well, I guess like 2.5. We started towards the end of the Porter era.
Which would have been 3 years ago.
Well,
So
time is a
Trey
construct.
and I think we should do more now. We're going into holidays next week. Maybe we can do kind of a more of a Festivus kind of thing, and airing our grievances. I think it's time
we
for
could
that.
do air grievances. We could
Which
also
could be the last episode ever.
of all time. Probably the last.
We'll just bleep the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, well, we'll think about that. If you have any ideas for us, like I said, all we got is time. And surprisingly, there's been a decent amount of news. So we'll see how all this stuff plays out. Well, we wish Haas the worst. We wish Mars the best. And I hope everybody has a great holiday. We will have one more pod before Christmas?
Yes,
At least,
I think we will have one more.
Okay,
too.
cool. So
There's
we'll
gonna be
hop on
two.
there. Yeah, if you want to hear anything or we got some other stuff brewing, all that fun stuff, let us know. Hit us up on all the socials, which you'll hear in a second from Mars.
Let us know.
Let us know. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. But we do. That's right, do.
Yes.
We say a go crew.
Thanks everyone for joining the club. We hope you'll listen next week and every week, even in the off season, to celebrate or commiserate. We'll save you a seat. If you like this podcast, please give us 5 stars and subscribe. You can email us at upper90clubpod@gmail.com. That's upper90clubpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at upper90clubpod. Go Crew!
That's your butt. You still have your headphones in?
Almost fell off the couch.